this, and I'll say, yo, what up? Let's go, man. How's life?
Busy.
Good.
I've had like time to play My Hero because I've been actually getting ready for a management position at Starbucks.
Congratulations. Well,
Thanks.
we are. I don't want to get into Starbucks. I just recently started drinking iced coffees. Yeah. Thank you, Levi from Alliteration Gaming. Anywho, we're here to talk about your awesome Kurogiri list. I'm so ecstatic to talk about this list. I think this is the Kurogiri list I want to play, but I don't own 4 dropkick slicers. So hit me with the elevator pitch about Kurogiri Feet. That's a weird name for a deck, but I'm here for it. hit me with the pitches.
Yeah. Well, I saw Dropkick Slicer. I immediately fell in love with it, and I'm like, I want to play 4 of this in whatever deck I'm playing. So I'm going to pick up the very expensive XSR versions. I now have 4 XSR versions, and I'm gearing towards blinging out the entire deck.
Wow.
I've been wanting to go competitive for a while because I've been topping at my locals fairly consistently.
Yeah.
And this is the deck I like the most because it's high risk, high reward.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to get the fancy art versions of the of Electric Jolt and I think Reciprocal Extend too. But for now, I just have 4 XR Electric Jolts because I know I'm keeping those in. I'm not sure about the Extends though. Yeah, I've got a good maybe 2-3/4 of the deck either XR'd or victoried out, and it looks so nice. And of course it's the stuff that I'm keeping it 4 of. So like the 4 dissolving the conflicts, the most of the zeros, the 4 passing the torches. And I'm okay trading out anything, changing up the deck size or whatever, but I'm keeping the 4 drop kicks in there.
Good. I think that is the way to make this character competitive at the moment, and so I completely agree with you. I think that is the right call.
Yeah.
Sorry about it. I'm still looking.
You're good. Yeah, I kind of just I want to start playing more competitive. If I ever touch Jiro, I'm going to play her on good or all because I love Staff Strike too much, and I know Staff Strike is just not good enough yet, in my opinion, because I've played it over and over.
A weapon all deck, you say, huh?
A weapon all deck.
A weapon all deck? Maybe
it's really funky.
Have a 1 check in there? Let's pick up some Staff Strikes, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. No, my favorite was when I could drop a Staff Strike, it passes, I don't get Toru'd or anything, and then I get to play a free dropkick. I'm going to play a Foundation on a 4 or 5 because it's a 0, and then I'm going to play another Staff Strike for a 6. I'm going to play infinite Staff Strike dropkicks.
Yeah.
You're gonna look at me and laugh. I'm gonna win.
Makes sense. Okay, so let's chat. What's the goal of the deck doctor today? Are you trying to cut cards? You trying to what are you thinking?
Mostly trying to fine tune it because I do like the way that kick list plays. I'm trying to move into the latter half of the game, then string out for a big win or stun enough that I win. But my block zones are, in my opinion, abysmal. At least half of them are 3s, and I don't like that because I'm trying to make it into a later game.
Right.
I tried 3+ ultras at my last locals, and it helped, but I still didn't like playing it too often, so I mostly reviewed it, or I used it to double the damage on a reciprocal acceleration kick, and then play another reciprocal acceleration kick and shake my opponent's hand.
Makes sense.
Which is good, but I wasn't blocking enough, and so half the time I'd go down to 1 or 2 health, and that's too risky for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm doing some looking. I'm going back through the order symbol because I think there's something. Man, the order symbol might be my favorite symbol in the game. As soon as it gets a single piece of throw hate, it's off to the races for me. I'll never play anything else. I feel about that way with it and the good symbol combined.
Yeah, I played Stain on all 3 symbols, testing every little bit out, and I'll be honest, I hated the order symbol most because it was so boring. It's it does one thing really well, but it does one thing over and over again. Every game feels like the same, even with the drop kicks, and I'm like, this is so boring, and I can't keep my eyes awake long enough to keep playing this deck. Uh, but that's why I'm keeping in the drop kicks. I like that fear factor of just the one check.
Yeah, get your blood pumping.
Yeah.
I am so close to being done, I promise.
Oh, you were good. I can also tell you the second reason I chose this. I originally started out with the tape swing list that I was watching on one of your streams, and I liked it that everything was a throw. But the second someone dropped it confused, I was like, "Ooh, this is a really bad deck now."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also wanted to play it because I already had like half the deck XR just from pulls from packs that no one wanted. Like the Bonds of Friendship, I had 2 of those. I had a Passing the Torch. I had a God, I just had a playset of like half the rest of the deck, and I'm like, I'm gonna run the throw list, see how that works. I didn't like it, and most of my XRs were throws, so I'm starting over, and I kind of wanted to fine tune it before I get everything else in there.
Makes sense to me.
But yeah, my biggest fear was that the order symbol has just so much that you can play. I'm worried that I may have missed 1 or 2 things.
Yeah, that is why I'm going back through everything. Okay, I think I am here for it. All right. So let's talk about just like good ass order cards. All right. First and foremost, we'll start off with the attacks. Tape swing. I put it in. I think it's a good sideboard option for whenever somebody has an answer to your stuff. This card does not get touched by Confused, luckily, and it can't be beaten by Face Shield as well. It can't be beat by Wall Cling, but there's answers to that under the order symbol with Natural Leader. You just commit and say, hey, you can't do Wall Cling, and then you tape swing them to death. The only issue is you just have to be a big strong man and just like understand that you're playing 2s and 1s. If you don't check them, you know, it's they're fine. It's fine.
Well, here's why I switched to kick. Actually, this is a big reason. It's because typically if I see a 1 and a 2 or at least one check or 2 check in my hand, I'll keep my starting hand with the attack.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, that's 1 less I have to worry about.
Right.
My finals, I was playing for the first, and I started with a 1 and a 2, and I'm like, you know what, we're gonna keep them both. Even though I'm going second, I'm gonna keep them both. We're gonna see what happens. I checked the other 6 of them, and it hurt.
Yeah.
It hurts so bad.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, that is an unfortunate way to lose locals.
So if I do play tape swing, it's not gonna be at a 4 of. At most, it'd be like a 2 or 3.
I think 3 is the right answer, but I get it. Up next is High Engine Kick. This card does another. It does kind of the same thing as Reciprocal Extend does. This says draw a card. This says filter. But this pseudo guarantees you a momentum, and it also gets these cards out of your hand. Beautiful 1 mid block. Does presses all the right buttons. It might be like you take out 1 Reciprocal Acceleration Kick and then 1 Jolt in order to do it, right? Because like we've got high block, and so like that might just like even up our mids a little bit, because as we look at our block zones here, we have 3 mids, bad. And so I think this card it might be worth it. As we look at our stats, I mean these aren't terrible, but like it's all on our stuff, which is probably why Plus Ultra probably feels really good just blocking with, as opposed to playing as the attack.
Yeah, no, I'm totally down for that. I was playing Extend solely because I could easily go into burst without needing that minimum 2 momentum. But I 100% I like the High Engine Kick too.
It also lets you do the High Engine Kick of picking the top card, picking the card off the top of your discard pile and doing stuff with it, right? So you can either like filter the same card and get the same stats with your Dissolving the Conflicts, or you can just like put a foundation on the bottom with Dissolving and then Kurogiri it up to the top, and then High Engine Kick to discard whatever and then redraw, right? Like there's just like it's like just like a ton of really good options with High Engine Kick and Extend. As I was looking, I want to say that you said you were not getting rid of any Jolts.
I'm okay to get rid of them, but I do have a playset. I think if I got rid of anything, it might be the Acceleration Kick, because Jolt is a 2 high, whereas Recipro is a 3 high, and I keep seeing the Recipros, which is fine, but playing on an 8 than playing on a 6 doesn't feel too good because I'm still committing no matter what.
Yeah.
Um,
I think putting
but
both of these to 3-ofs is the right call. But if I can't sell you on the 3-of the Jolt, because you don't have a way to loop this card, right? And it feels good, right? But it's just stun 1, which feels good on burst, but doesn't really synergize with anything else, right? It is free momentum, but it's just a 4 damage move that doesn't actually like synergize with the thing that we've got going on. And our high block slots are just so packed.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it.
We'll see what that does for us. So 18 attacks. That's neat. We can increase extend and go to 19 and probably feel fine. And we don't necessarily need high engine kick. High engine kick is really cool as a poke, where extend is a poke that pluses you 1. The only issue is the block zone sucks. It's a 3 mid. But we never get to play it as a block, right? If we ever see this card, we slam it down on the table. The only time that we don't slam this card is versus Shigaraki. Every other deck, we just play it.
Yeah. Okay. So if I were to add in high engine kick, what would you take out then?
Probably.
Because I do like the 1 mid with the filter instead of draw.
I mean, if you like that more than the other extend, then probably 1 Reciprocal Burst, 1 extend.
Okay, gotcha.
But I think Reciprocal Extend is going to do a better job of killing people because it has an extra 4 stats on it, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, extend and acceleration kick is just like an absolute beating. Not to mention any other whatevers that we toss on there.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And also extend into Dropkick Slicer whenever you're at pseudo desperation, right? I'll just call it when you're at desperation. Feels good, right? This is a 6 high for 7 that burns them or draws more attacks, draws more blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
And you can't fail this check when you're at desperation because you just stack your 5s.
Yeah. Or 6s.
Right. Or 6s.
Bonds. Yeah. One of my favorite things is either stocking up on drop kicks in the bottom or stocking up on the bonds at the bottom, because then I'm like, I can check a 6 check when I want to, or I can get a drop kick when I want to. I am now a 9 hand size character.
Right. That's cool. That's very, very cool. On to the foundations. I'll click this button to make sure that we're back where it was. Okay. I put in Drowning in Resentment. I've been talking about this card all day today. I think this is the biggest thing that people are missing, but it's the order symbol, and so I don't know if you necessarily have room for it because of the amount of value you have, right? You have to play 4 dissolving, and so like this is kind of where this slot would go. Like we have to play Desperate Times, we have to play Bonds of Friendship. It's just like it's a needed card. Those are needed cards, and this one is not necessarily so much. But the fact this card messes up the good life Earth decks so much is just like insane. The card's very good against them.
Okay.
The last piece
would you cut?
is that it does not trigger off of Jolt or Indiscriminate. It triggers off of Jolt, Indiscriminate, and Reciprocal Burst, and that's it for the plus or minus damage.
Okay. So then would you maybe cut the shock treatments for it, since that card is kind of momentum hungry in a deck that I'm trying to get 2 momentum to?
I am going to put shock treatment down to a 1 of either way, just because I think there's cooler things that we can be doing with it. But I think shock treatment is probably just a better. Actually, let's look at our block zones. Block zones are so even, buddy. You make this so hard. Why don't you come in with 4 high blocks, huh?
Because I'm learning from you. I'm learning from the best.
Well, you're learning from somebody. I wouldn't say it's the best. We could cut the shock treatments and play it at a 2 of if that's where it's at. I think this card is a little more proactive. This is more of a meta call than anything. So like going to your locals, I think you'll have to make that call, but I want it to exist in your sideboard so you can make that call, right? Being able to selectively commit anything you want is better than sometimes putting stuff in their card pool by 1, right? That will just always be there. This is pound for pound, or this is pound for pound a better card than Drowning. It just is. I just think Drowning is a lot of really good value right now.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm gonna go to our difficulty, I think. Beautiful spam counts. Absolutely fantastic. I know we're playing the one check, but we could cut our zeros by just a little bit if we wanted to. Like we could cut gotcha by 1 and rooftop by 1, just to, as opposed to 12, drop it down to 10. A sixth of our deck being ones means that we will statistically draw at least 1 inside of our opening hand, which means we get to draw a 1, and then the 0, and that's our safe build, right? Everything after that is bonus.
Gotcha.
And that would just increase our room a little bit for some other cool cards, right? Because we've got things like Award the Victor, which I know it's difficult to play up front because of our one checks, but if we do, we auto pass whatever we want, and it clears our card pool, right? Like being able to go being able to auto pass an Indiscriminate Shock in conjunction with Kurogiri just like feels great. It's just like another copy of Kurogiri, if you want to think about it that way.
Yeah, totally. With the ones too, I like it.
Sticky Balls is an amazing card. Defrosting is an amazing card, specifically with Heroic Lineage. If you have room for defrosting in your deck, not only does like, hey, I'll give my unbelievably fast Recipro Acceleration Kick a -1 speed because it got +6 speed, and I'll give it the +2 damage. The +2 damage is what got to kill you. Same thing with Recipro Burst.
Sure.
Or giving Indiscriminate Shock +2 speed, right? And -1 damage says that I don't care. It just says that I didn't get the damage from the stun 1 on this card, but it still gets to kill you.
My only problem with all 3 of those cards was that they're all 3 difficulties in a
100%.
1 difficulty deck.
Yep.
I'm playing a little bit higher 2s because if I'm going second, I don't care if I commit Kurogiri going second, because I'm like, you're gonna hit me with something big. That's fine. I'll drop below 10. I'll play my 4 diff drop kicks. I'll survive regular attack because I have 2-3 of the dissolving the conflicts. I can win past that.
Mm-hmm.
But playing with 3s, if I check a 1 on the first one, I'm dead.
Yep.
I've lost.
100%. It means that like you become a 6-hander going first. It just means you become a 6-hander, which is rough. But if this is what wins you the game, then like, you know.
Yeah. In that case, I'd play 1 between Defrosting and Award the Victor. What would you prefer?
Defrosting. Defrosting actually lets you kill people. I hope this works. This is this in conjunction with Heroic Lineage says discard the top card of your deck, commit 1 card, -5 speed. And that's crazy. Or -4 speed, excuse me.
Yeah. Or with Reciprocal Burst, it gets +2 speed, +1 damage, and then whatever else you give it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Reciprocal Burst is actually a card I was kind of iffy on because I'm like, I like seeing the card. When it goes off hard, but when it doesn't, it's a 4 low for 5.
Yep.
So I do like defrosting with the Reciprocal.
I like defrosting. If you were thinking about taking out Burst, which I would personally, I would just be playing Tape Swings instead. It covers that same high block zone. It's a better use of your momentum. It is a little riskier, right? And then we don't even have to worry about the defrosting idea because this card's just always going to do damage. Like keep all of this, keep the extend Reciprocal Acceleration Dropkick Slicer package, and then just play the Tape Swing. But
Okay.
we said no Tape Swing, and I'm super here for it. Yeah. But if you're feeling a little mid on it, like the easiest choice is just switch it for Tape Swing.
Yeah, I think if I'm playing it with the Tape Swing and the drop kicks, the way I win a tournament is I never check a single 1 or 2, or I check 1 or 2 the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm winning on this symbol, I'm winning off a Reciprocal Burst or Reciprocal Acceleration with a Plus Ultra. That or the world's biggest Indiscriminate when they are completely stunned out.
You know how I said cut 1 gotcha, 1 rooftop vantage? I lied. We're going to cut 2 rooftop vantages and keep the gotcha at 4-0 just because we have Indiscriminate. And that we just need that. The +1 speed.
It works better.
Yeah. So from here, that actually means that we have 2... Oh, excuse me, tape. We've got the 2 choices from the rooftops that we get to mess around with to increase our number. Because we can go... It doesn't necessarily have to be a low. I think 18 low blocks is fine. And if we are worried about the lows, we just shove it back and be like, yo, you can have not a low attack.
Mhm.
So the other options we have are if we want to go for the defrosting, which is an option, not the option. We've got things like ice gliding. We've got things like hero killer. We've got things like intimidating presence. We've got things like unexpected hero, which I think unexpected hero is a really neat choice for making these unbelievably fast attacks hit. It just depends on what we can get out of it. Also, there's a low block.
Yeah. So you would play the defrosting over ice gliding, though, right?
Defrosting over ice gliding.
Because they both do something similar, but with ice gliding, I'm playing it as a 1 diff rather than a 3 diff when I have a 1 check in the deck.
Well, the thing is this card also gives damage. I know it's not a lot, but it is +2, and it's not a commit cost to do so. And so, like, that is the thing, is this card says that our moves do hit, but we're playing the kick package, and so speed is not our issue. It's just damage, right? The only relevant damage that we have is on burst, but... and I have not played very much with this card. I think that might get mitigated a bit because of Dropkick Slicers burn. So if you can see Dropkick Slicers and you're burning them for 3 on all of these moves, even if we're not slamming cards up into our hand, it might be enough to put them into the danger zone that we don't necessarily need to just pog out on the burst. It can be something a little different, you know?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So I think Ice Gliding is a totally fine replacement. I think that is a completely acceptable card.
I think I'd do personal choice. I think I'd do, if I'm playing the defrosting, I'm playing tape swing, and if I'm playing the ice gliding, I'm playing the reciproc burst, because ice gliding is damage on reciproc burst, and I like speed on indiscriminate. With indiscriminate gotcha and ice gliding, it's a 5 low for 14, 15.
Love that. You do get more speed off defrosting, but we're not here for that. Yeah, I mean, literally the only thing I changed in your attack lineup or your foundation lineup is I cut a shock treatment, and then I cut 2 of this to add 2 of this. If we wanted to put this up to 62, we could put one of those. We could put like a fruit of our labor back in and say that our opponent can never go to deadlock, or we could just put back in one of the rooftops and I think feel fine if we wanted to push this up to 62. Because of the fact that we are adding attacks to our hand because of Dropkick Slicer, we're allowed to have a slightly lower count, especially with being able to go, I check an attack as at the end of my opponent's turn, or I discard a card, or I whatever. I can then take and slam it to the bottom of my deck with dissolving and then redraw it with passing. That feels great.
Yeah.
Better
yet, I'll play my first attack. I'll award the victory. I'm going to check that attack guaranteed. I'll put it back on the bottom and I'll redraw it.
Yeah.
I get to play 1 attack twice in a turn.
We didn't put Award of the Victory in the deck. Do you want to do that still?
No. I am debating it, but it's, again, risky with a dropkick. I think I might just play it, because I do think that's
I think it's cool.
Hilarious.
I think it's neat, right? Even if it's just a one of, right? Just like, and the worst case scenario, you just side it out, man. Just side it. You're good.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I definitely like this list a lot more now. Even only minor changes, I think that's gonna change the deck a lot. And now I have options between burst, tape swing, ice gliding, and the whole lot of the cards you've added on the side.
If you feel like you are not seeing enough attack cards, take 2 of these high engine kicks, just toss them in the main board.
Yeah.
Go up to 21 attacks and then see how it feels, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. And if that doesn't work, or you're not liking these, you can increase these numbers, decrease numbers, do whatever. But yeah. I think the fact that you've got 4 extend in here now of the extra draw, and it is a selective draw, I think that you're gonna feel fine.
Yeah. I think any card that says draw 1 in Kurogiri is just instantly broken.
Agreed.
Agreed
fully.
And then thoughts on calling for backup at a 3 of rather than a 4 of? That was, I think, the last thing that I had. because I was kind of going back and forth just because of the deck size. Because calling for backup says I'm an 8-hander, dropkick, I'm now a 10-hander. But like, it's a 3 mid, which was my biggest worry, is that it's a high check. And I just wasn't 100% sold on it, but I did like the effect that I can, on my opponent's turn, flip it, discard a 6 check, stack it on the top of my deck, I guarantee block, and I just filtered one.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure if it should be a 3 or 4 of.
I think I'll back up because of how it interacts with Kurogiri. Probably it can exist at a 3 of, but I mean, a 7-hander that becomes an 8-hander that becomes a 9-hander is like a good card, right? like it feels good if like you as Kurogiri on turn 1, you happen to build out your 4, maybe 5, right? And then as your first move, you play extend. First hand's calling for backup. Second hand's Kurogiri. Third hand's extend. 9 hands has character. I'm playing a 4 mid for 4 poke. That says I get to stack the top card of my deck. I knew what my next check was, so I'm not checking a 1. That's impossible. You cannot check a 1 as your next move. They would both have to be 1s as the first top and bottom of your deck for that to happen. And so I could just play another extend, so it's a 6 mid for 6. It draws another card. Or I could happily just play a burst, make it a 5 low for, a 6 low for 7, right? Because the stun's going to give it an extra speed, right? And so, like, that threat is just so real. That threat's so real and so good. That opening of a turn of calling into extend just feels super good.
Yeah. Awesome. I think that's everything then.
Yeah.
I will take you changing very little as a big compliment to my deck building getting better.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Come back to the deck in season 3, right? When set 3 drops.
Oh, yeah.
The deck's gonna change another 100 cards or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fingers crossed.
Dropkick Slicer 2.0 is gonna come out, and it's gonna add 4 cards because obviously we have to power creep it a little bit, you know.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, 4 XSR dropkicks looks just beautiful.
I'm sure, man. I'm sure. I've got a buddy who SXR'd the Nitro Explosions, and so yeah, I can imagine 4 XSR Secret Rares in a deck. Whew, big ballin'.
I think I told you this a long time ago when we were playing. My store opened 5 XSR dropkick slicers and none of the other XSR.
That's right.
I think we've now opened 7 or 8 XSR dropkick slicers, and we still haven't seen a single one of the other one.
Not one? That's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, it's just getting better with it. I love it.
Yeah. That's tight. All right, man. Anything here that you disagree with?
Absolutely not. I'm loving it.
I loved the conversation that we got to have. So thank you so much, man. I'm gonna keep you on the line long enough to shoot you the list over, and then we'll catch you next time. Okay.
Please do.
All right. Peace, dude.
Peace.